next day of Kneevember. So I've got a little bit of a tricky one today. I've been saving it and trying to think of the best way to kind of put it across. It is an exercise in and of itself, but it's more a case of recovering or seeing if you've got the ability to do it in the first place, and then playing with it until things free off and things move, or you have control over it. So I'm just going to crack on, right? And you'll just have to sort of have a play with it, and then mention in the group if you're struggling with it, and we'll do the best we can to kind of help. You can tell I'm like, oh, head's about to explode. Hey up, cat, you come in, come on, come in, oh, come on in, oh, come and say hello. So this is Sparrow. She likes to be on screen, don't you? You come in to say hello. Purry, purry. Got things to do, cat. Well, right, so the reason why I'm sat this close to the camera is so that you can see my lower leg. And I've got a massive light on here so that you can see this ridiculous line that I've drawn down the front of my shin. So if you were to sort of feel the front of your leg, there's a bony point at the top of your shin, a little bony landmark. I'm going to call that a little nobule at the moment. So you've got this little nobule at the top of your shin bone, and then if you stroke down the front, you'll feel, everybody knows what the shin bone is because it hurts when you clout it on the edge of the bed. It's that. So you've got your shin bone. So that shin bone, your tibia, should be able to move and rotate underneath your knee joint. So your knee does, forward and back, like we know, that's okay. But there is, or should be, this little bit of rotation. And what happens is we lose the ability to either rotate that in or out, and it varies. So some of us will have lost the ability to rotate it in, some of us will have lost the ability to rotate it out. Or it just becomes stiff, or it's a habit from turning the foot out. So we want to make sure that the tibia or that shin bone is free to move under the knee joint. Yes, we do. Go away. All right, so, and this is where the tricky part is, because if you've never done this, it can be a little bit mind-boggling to try and get your shin bone to move. So I'm going to let me come here so you can see. So all I'm doing is I've got my knee bent, because it's a lot easier with your knee bent. I've got my heel, it's braced on my other knee at the moment, but you could do this on the floor and just bend the knee, but you want your foot flexed, so I'm not pointed. It makes it, again, I can do it, but it makes it a little bit harder. So flexing the foot, it's like you're wearing, if you imagine you're wearing a ski boot. So you can't move your foot from side to side. The ski boot is going to hold it all in place. So the way I learned how to do it was to bring my fingertips onto my shin bone and kind of hold it all in place, and then start to work it from side to side. Now, it looks like my foot's moving. My foot isn't moving on its own. My foot's only moving because it's attached via my ankle to my lower leg, right? So I'm doing it with my hands to try and encourage it. If I was to let go, I'm hoping that you can see this line here, moved out, moved in. And if I took my foot away for you so that that's not as distracting, you can see how my shin bone rotates out and rotates in. And I'm not moving my knee. It's just my shin bone. So it's called a shank rotation. You're rotating your shank, and the shank being the shin. So it's not a big movement. I could do it here as well. It's not a big movement, but it should move. And for a lot of us that've got sort of knee issues, you'll find that you're either stuck in one direction or the other, but you want to just be able to free it off. It doesn't really matter. If you find that you've got tons and tons of movement out and you can't really move it in, then work towards moving it in more. But ultimately, all we want is for it to be able to move. You just want to be able to get your shin bone to move. So have a play. And like I said, the easiest thing, the way I did it, or the way I still do it sometimes, is to get hold of my lower leg, because it's the feedback from my hands where I know that the shin bone's moving because I can feel it, rather than just my foot doing this. So that would be foot movement. This is shin movement. And if I take my hands away, you can see the line moving as opposed to just the foot wiggling. If I wiggle the foot from side to side, the line doesn't move. If I keep my foot still, the line moves. Yes, this light is dreadful, isn't it? But it meant that you could see what I was talking about, so I'm going to switch it off.